Okay, the kids are going to join us in just a minute. Does anybody want to share anything? Yay. You think he's a pretty face, but no, it's a hard job. You're doing so great, thanks.
Ever since someone said authentic for the definition of vulnerability, I've just been like processing how, like, so I was reminded of, I think last week you said a new definition for sin, or like rewording the definition, is inauthenticity.
Yeah.
And so I've just been sitting here like thinking, how do we like how are we authentic to ourselves if we choose not to be vulnerable with people? And how can vulnerability be a synonym for authenticity, even when you're authentic but you choose not to be vulnerable? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
But I've
what level of wisdom,
right,
in the exposure of yourself
is still authentic?
Right.
And when you guard yourself, how is that still being authentic? So I've been thinking about that. But what comes to mind when I think about vulnerability is like artwork, just because whenever I make art, it's like, it feels like a vulnerable process, but also like sharing it with people is very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just been thinking about how it's hard to make authentic art in a way, because there's so many artists in the world who have like made similar things, and so sometimes there's this like when you said you can't be vulnerable if you are unaware of it within yourself. Like if you make something and it's just like, this doesn't feel like an authentic expression of myself, because it's like copying someone or something. This is like this internal struggle that I have whenever I make art.
There's a famous artist. Has anybody heard? There's a super famous artist, and this was his very argument, was like, he was going, I finally found my authentic voice in art. He may even be like dead, like famous artists, like, you know, and then he realized like his art was really just like so much like this other art, and he was like devastated because he thought he had his authentic note, you know, like his authentic art. And then he realized like none of his art was without the influences that had created that art, which is the authentic note that he is. It's his interaction with every influence that has come his way, and then his reinterpretation of that is his voice, you know, in art. But he had this, and this isn't ringing any bells for anyone. It was his like crisis, was realizing there is no authentic art. And it was this like despairing moment for him. And then he realized, but what if it's not about having this original style? What if it is my interpretation of what I love from the influences that have come my way? And the interactions, which is really what community is, which is really what God designed all of us for, was to be shaped and built. Like, it's like, is there an original thought? Well, not really, because our very brains are built by what? The perceptions of others. We've talked about the science of how our brain is a social organism, and deprived of interaction will die. And so our brains literally, and our perceptions are built through the interaction and perceptions of others, but it is uniquely ours to process. So interesting. I'll have to try and find if that's not, if I shared it, somebody wouldn't go, oh, it's so and so. And
it sounds like the character in this TV story called Mozart, and he was the conductor. And he created his own what's the word?
Symphony?
Oh,
well, this was art, but
it ended up being like the symphony of all the great people of all times.
And he had a similar process. Isn't that funny? He's devastated. It was just an imitation.
Yes,
But it's not. That's so fun. Oh, he was devastated because it was, yeah. Isn't that hilarious? Okay, go ahead, and then we'll bring up.
I just wanted to comment about like how you can be authentic without, if you choose not to be vulnerable in a situation. And I think it goes back to being a powerful person and with boundaries.
Yes.
So, that's how I think it fits
so
together.
Good. That's so good. How much of your garden you allow someone into? You can allow someone into a certain portion of your garden. That's totally authentic, but it doesn't give them access to everything. That's genius. Brilliant. I love that. All right, I'm going to bring up Lindsay, who is going to lead us in our prophetic practice with the Lord. And Linz, you are Sam's husband too. Do you need a partner to help you with anything, or you're all good?
I'm good.
You and the Lord are perfect partners?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So my mom got married yesterday, and it was just a full weekend with family, and Jared was needing some rest and recuperation before he flies out tomorrow for a whole week. He was feeling a little drained.